Crafty people, this is Ellen with EGI Designs and welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by today. This past month, Spellbinders had sent to me to work with an embossing folder from their new Beautifully Imperfect collection, and this is called Distress Mix Embossing Folder. And I will link over to the card that I made using this embossing folder. I basically did the blackout technique, and I made a card using shimmer powders and all that good stuff, and then did the blackout technique and then put thick embossing powder over the top of it to give, I made it into tiles and they looked like enameled tiles. So that I will link that over so you can check that out. But I am absolutely in love with this collection, the Beautifully Imperfect. So when it went on sale, I had to get some of the pieces from it. So I just wanted to share that with you. There is a die cut pack, and this has a lot of like inky, like, but also like grungy, kind of, some are a little bit vintagey looking, a lot of butterflies and birds and flowers and things like that. These are absolutely gorgeous. And then we have the embossing folder. I put a piece of paper in there just so you can see the details on it, but this is very mixed media, but it's already all done for you, right? So you have the script and the flourishes and numbers and all that good stuff. This is the coolest cutting die ever, I have to tell you. This is called Tangled Threads. And so if you want that stitching look on your cards, but you don't have a sewing machine to do it, this would be something for you to get that look with. So you have, you know, kind of the like pile of threads look, and you have a few of those, but then you have these stitching ones. And the cool thing is that you get the dotted part, like it cuts out holes for these two, and then you have the thread, the stitching. So when you layer that together, it actually looks like it is stitched through the paper. So it's very, very cool. I've never seen that really done before, so it's very ingenious there. Then we have the gorgeous rub-ons. Look at these. Like, I can't even. It's so beautiful. And then it's got a lot of beautiful sayings in here. And you get 2 sheets. The butterflies and the birds are similar to what's in the die cuts. So that's kind of, so you can see what is in there too. But just so beautiful. And then I think the piece de resistance. Look at this press plate. I cannot take it. Oh my gosh. I love butterflies anyway, but I love with the grungy. Then you have 2 press plate sentiments. It's celebrate in your own style and some friendships never fade. And it does have the dies for the sentiments. And here's the press plate. So cannot wait to create with that. Then we also have a background press plate, and this is very distressed and cool and grungy. And there's 2 sentiments with that: embrace the mess and beautifully imperfect. So that's what that looks like. Love it. And then this paper. Oh my goodness, friends, look at this paper. I love it. So yeah, a lot of bright colors, stripes, but still a little bit grungy. Look at these butterflies. And this flower, like, holy cow. A little vintage. Look at this farmhouse over here. This is like a little collage paper. So anyway, before I tore into all of this, I wanted to share it with you while it was still in its whole entirety. So anyway, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and think of an idea, and I will be back. All right, I had a think, and this is what I have thunk. I wanted to, this paper is absolutely gorgeous, and it's got a shine to it on the black. So I have a card base which is 9 1/4 by 6 3/8, and then scored at 4 5/8. The paper is 4 1/2 by 6 1/4, and then so I just did like 1/8 of an inch around, just to show that from the back a little bit. And it is the Bellini cardstock. It brought out the pinks in that, so I love that. And then I cut a couple of the threads and thought we could make a little thread pile on the bottom. So I'm going to be doing the butterfly better pressing, and I have the postage edge squares. So we will do the better press first, and then we can kind of see where we want to cut this. And then we'll put that on the front. And then I'm going to use the Beautifully Imperfect BetterPress plate, and this is on a piece of chiffon, which is just a little bit lighter. Alright, so let's get going with this. So I will link over to my BetterPress hacks video. I like to I have a few things that I've thought of over the years that I've had this, and it really makes things a lot easier when you're doing your BetterPress. So the first thing that I like to do is I'll put my paper down, and I have a little bit of temporary adhesive on here. We'll see if it's sticky enough to hold that. Nope, need a little bit more. So I just put this on there, push it down, and then it will stick to the lid, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so one of the tips and tricks that I like to use is once my paper is on the lid, I will put my image on the paper, because then I know exactly where it is. It doesn't really matter so much with this particular style, but if you're doing something and you need to be very precise of where it is, like you need to be up in the corner here, I found that if if you're putting this here and then you need to kind of think in opposites, and then you're like, no, that's not in the right spot, and all that. So I found it was easier, sorry, I'm just grabbing my magnet. I found it was easier to get the paper on the lid and then put your BetterPress plate where you want it. And here is my upside down trick. So once that's where you want it, make sure your plates are all taped in and everything. You click in, and then you push down, and then carefully fold it over. And what will happen is that the magnetic plate will pick up your BetterPress plate, and it'll be in exactly the right spot. So that's just one of my little tips for you. Alright, I think we're going to use, I have these two inks from 49 Market. I have just Peachy and Pink Sands. Either one could go, and we could even do a mix. I think I'm going to put a first layer of Pink Sands, and then we can see where that takes us. And we could even do like add in a little bit of the just Peachy once this is set, but I want to get a first layer. And we might have to go a couple times because this is kind of a light color, but as long as you keep everything in the right spot and make sure you don't switch around this lid, you can go as many times as you want. So I'm just going to run this through my die cut machine. Okay, let's see how we did. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, I love this so much I can't even tell you. Anyway, so you want to keep this in the same orientation. I think I'm going to add in a little bit of the Just Peachy. And I don't want this to look harsh on here. So once because I'm not doing the whole thing. So you want to kind of smooth out the edges of it a little bit so you don't get the lines. Alright, let me try this. I'm going to throw again. Okay, so now we're getting different variations of color on there, which is really awesome. I'm going to go all over again with the pink sands, just to see if I can even that blotchiness out a little bit. Okay, wonderful. So I think we're good to go with that. And this is a dye ink, so I can just use water to clean this up. I'm just going to use a cloth. And I'll just grab that up with my magnets. Okay, and then for the sentiment, I'm going to just put this in the middle. And take that off first, and then same thing. So now it's stuck on here. I'll put that sentiment. Click in, push down. Alright, and for this one, I want it to be a very rich, saturated color, so I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne. Yeah, look at that. I love the type font on there. That's great. Alright, this is a pigment ink, so we can start with water, and then if we need to do a stamp cleaner, we can move to that. Magnet makes it a lot easier. Alright, let's get these things cut out. I just got this Science to Stamp label slides die, and this is what this comes out as, and I love the embossed detail in there, and this is a perfect size for this, so I thought we could use this. I wanted to make a template for this though, because you can't see. And it would probably be very imperfect, not just beautifully imperfect. So if you ever need to make a template because you can't see where it would be, just cut it out from a piece of paper. And then what you can do is, I like to tape the sentiment or image or whatever it is, and then also tape the template. So I'm just going to center this up where I think it looks best. I think that's good. And if it's not awesome, that's okay too, because we are making a beautifully imperfect card today. So, and then you just take the die and you lock it in, and then you run it through your die cut machine. And you can tape that too if you are worried about it shifting. Aha. Very good, very good. That's exciting. Alright, and then with this, we can use this die and kind of frame up, you know, where do we want it, how much splatter do we want. I think I kind of want it over to the side because I really like that splatter effect. Okay, I'll die cut this out. Okay. So let's see what we need to do. I think this needs a black layer, I think, to kind of tie that all together. So let me get that. So this is 3.5 square. So I will do a 3 5/8. Yeah, I think that really helps. And I think I'm going to edge this too, because it's looking a little stark white with that. So let me think about what color we should do that with. We could probably use the pink sands to tie it together a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks a little less stark. All right, let's see. Oop, everything's magneting together here. All right, let's get this put together. That's kind of my vision for this. I'm also thinking maybe we can put a like a strip. Let's see, this would be big enough. Let me see how wide these are. I think I'm going to edge this. 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 I think I'm going to edge this also a 1/4. We can see if this looks right. Oh, I like that. Okay. Alright. So first, we need to get this stuck down. Okay, and then we need to get these glued down first. I love how crazy these are. If I was thinking ahead, I probably would have cut these out with, like put some double-sided adhesive on there. But I think we can kind of leave them loose a little bit so they look a little messy. Okay. And then for this, we might, because of all that, all these, everything, all the stack of stuff here, we might want to pop that up. Let me get some foam tape. I have this Altenew, it's a 1/4 inch, but it is 1/16, so it's very skinny. I think that would be perfect. I think I'm gonna tape, just put a little bit of tape across to keep this even. Alright, so I'm going to try to center this up over all of the threads. And then these I'm bringing around to the back. Alright, I'm just going to use my tape runner on this. Okay, here is our beautiful card front. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I think that's so pretty. Alright, let us move on to the inside. I have a piece of the white, and actually I cut it, I wasn't paying attention, and I cut it how I normally cut it for an A2, but we are doing more like an A6. So let me get a new piece for that. And that's better. So this is 6 by 4¼ and I wanted to use the rub-ons and some of the die cuts. So if you've never used rub-ons before, you cut out the one that you want. This one says a little torn, a little stitched, but always holding strong, which I thought was a beautiful sentiment. So then you're going to peel this off, and when you figure out where you want it, you just put it down, and because you can't peel it back up, it'll take off some of the image. So you put it down, and that's where it is. All right, so you can use a popsicle stick. You could actually run this through your die cut machine and it'll stick it on there. I just like to use my bone folder. I also have this is a Trinity ergonomic tool, so whatever you like to do, and you just burnish over it, and then you're gonna peel it up from the edge and see how you did. And if you go slow, you can always put it back down and then see, so we didn't get that G there, so we can just put it back down. Okay, and then once you have it on there, I like to use the backing and the shiny side, and I just kind of burnish it around the edge and make sure everything is stuck down. Okay. And so for this, I just wanted to kind of add a little collage look. So we'll get this together. Okay, and I'll put this in the card with some temporary adhesive, and I'll put it in with permanent after I write it, just in case I mess it up. I don't want to ruin my whole card. Okay, so there you have it. It's pretty easy. We just used the background paper, which was absolutely gorgeous. We BetterPressed the butterfly, made a mat for that. We used the BetterPress on this label here, cut out a couple of the threads, put them behind. And then on the inside, we used the rub-on, and we used a couple of the die cuts for our inside message. So there is our card today. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could hit that like button and also consider subscribing to my channel. It greatly helps me in getting out my content to other crafters just like you. If you want to stick around, I will put my card making playlist at the top, and I will also link over to that BetterPress hacks video, so you can check that out and look at all the cool things that I have to show you there. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Until next time, like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.